all eyes on Google today, as it was the company's time to shine for the Made by Google event. And Matt Miller and Jason Cipriani were there in attendance today. And Jason, let's just start with you. If you had to kind of wrap up in, say, 30 seconds, the overall theme, what all took place today, what would you say?
Yeah, I would say that, Google usually only has one major hardware event a year, and it's usually in October, so we're right on time there. But the overall theme that seems to prevail at all of these hardware events from Google is security, the continuity, and how seamless everything works together with Google services that kind of tie everything together. Whether it's on a Nest Mini, which is their new speaker, or the phone, the Pixel 4 they just announced, or even the Pixelbook Go. Everything ties together with their software and their services as a whole.
Okay, and you mentioned there, Jason, some of the products that were talked about today, of course, the phones, which we'll get to. So, Matt, why don't you just start with some of the other things? You talked about the Nest, the Buds. Start there for us.
Yeah, this is one of the first times I've been to one of the Google events, so it was kind of interesting to see it start off with the first device that actually we're not going to see until the spring of 2020. So they started off with the new Pixel Buds. Now, the one thing that makes these finally more compelling is there's no cable connecting them anymore. We finally have a true wireless headset. And me personally, I was very excited to see they have a long-range Bluetooth functionality. I used my earbuds when I mowed the lawn. They said you can go a football field length with the Pixel Buds. So I'm looking forward to that, along with all the Google Assistant integration and everything else that goes with it. I guess that one of the other products they announced that I think will be available end of the month is the Pixelbook Go, which is a very interesting Chromebook, but it's quite a departure from Google because we've seen them always launch their Pixel Book or Pixel Slate at the high end of the market. This one is more for the masses with a starting price, I think, of $699 and a little bit better portability and feel for the general public more than the high-end user.
All right, so let's get into phones then, guys. Go ahead and start dissecting for us, what was introduced and the different specifics for the phones here.
Yeah, so of course the star of the show is the Pixel 4. We actually have a couple of them here. There's the Oso Orange, white, and then we also have the black one as well, but every phone's black anymore. So the headlining feature here, of course, with the Pixel 4 is the camera, and that's where they make the big splash every year. Forget the Google Assistant integration and the routine software updates, but I think the camera is kind of the headlining feature always. With the Pixel 4 especially, they've added a second camera now. In the past, they've done real well with just a single camera and doing some of the same stuff that Apple has done with the iPhone with portrait mode, and we've seen some from Samsung as well. So now the Pixel 4 has two cameras, and they've really improved from the samples we've seen. Matt and I were just in a blacked out demo room with fake stars on the ceiling. In the night sight astrophotography stuff that they've added to the Pixel 4 was kind of mind-blowing, wasn't it?
Yeah, especially when it says you can set it on a tripod and it can do the exposures for up to 4 minutes long.
Yeah, as long as the phone is still, it can go up to 4 minutes depending on how long it needs to fully capture the shot and line up the stars. It's going to be really interesting to see once we get our hands on these devices and are able to fully test them out, what exactly Google is able to do with the camera outside of a controlled environment.
One question I have for you, Jason, we haven't talked about this yet, but Google, right, they come out with a second camera. They went with telephoto rather than wide angle. What are your thoughts on that?
I love the ultra wide angle on any phone. I use that far more than I do telephoto stuff.
I agree.
It adds a different perspective. But although Google did address that during the keynote and said that they think the telephoto lens with their super res zoom technology is actually far more capable and versatile than the ultra wide angle, I'm not sold on it. I think they're still playing catch up in that regard, right? Apple finally caught up with the ultra wide angle lens this year. Google, hey, maybe in a couple of years we'll see that third lens on there as well. But yeah, what about you? What were your thoughts?
Well, yeah, especially with their ability, even on the Pixel 3, to use their super zoom and digital computational photography. Why not go with an ultra wide? You can already do zoom pretty well with just software. I'm a little disappointed there, but we'll see what people think.
Yeah, so the Pixel 4 is available for pre-order starting today. I think they said it ships October 24th, which is 9 days away or so. And it starts at $799, which a lot of rumors leading up to this. There were a lot of leaks. The one they didn't get right was the price, which is usually the case. Price had it starting at $999. I'm very glad to see that it's a affordable price, right? I mean, not to mention, this is launching on all carriers for the first time. This isn't a Verizon exclusive anymore. Granted, you could buy it in the past unlocked and use it wherever you want, but this is going to be officially supported and carried by every major U.S. carrier this time. That's a huge splash for Google to make with the Pixel
In
phone.
the U.S., that's major. I mean, outside the U.S., people don't necessarily buy it to the carriers, but in the U.S., that's where they sell it.
Vast majority
we should see the Pixel become a much more mainstream device sold by carriers.
Absolutely, which is going to push other Android manufacturers to step up their software updates and even their hardware game in some respect.
All right, and guys, how do you all feel like, in comparison to, say, the other companies' flagship phones? How do they match up?
Well, I think when it comes to, I'll go first.
Okay.
I think when it comes to Android, Google really can't be touched in a few areas. One is the camera. Another is Google Photos backup. You get unlimited full resolution backup. And lastly, where was I going? Camera. Oh,
Software
updates. Yeah. Monthly routine software updates, security updates. Samsung does an okay job, but they're probably the best outside of Google doing this. Essential, they didn't sell many phones, so I don't really count them in this.
And Samsung's mainly the security updates, but not the
meaningful
software.
Right, yeah. And so when it comes to Android, I think Pixel kind of sets the bar and leads the path. Samsung sells a lot more phones than Google does, but hopefully with the new availability and expanded rollout, it'll happen. And also this puts a little bit of pressure on Apple as well. Just from the security aspect of it, they're really driving home the privacy. It was very Apple-like how much they talked about privacy today.
Yeah, so my big concern really is battery life. And I know Apple, that was a big focus of their iPhone 11. I mean, we now see 4 hours on the small one, 5 hours on the new one. Pixels have always done okay, but batteries always kind of lag, so that's something we're going to have to test long term.
Yeah, they didn't mention it once during the keynote today, which is always a sign that if they don't talk about it, there's probably a reason it wasn't talked about.
Yeah, all right. So, guys, kind of in summary, do you feel like Google, do they hit the mark?
Yeah, I think so. I think this Pixel 4 is definitely right on the mark for where they should be at and what kind of, forget all the leaks. It's kind of what we expected from Google this year. Again, without all the leaks in the 3 months worth of knowing everything about the device. The expanded availability, the price point, the added camera features. I think it hit the nail on the head.
Yeah, I think the only thing that wasn't leaked was the new voice recorder, which is a minor thing, but I actually thought it was pretty cool to be able to search through your transcript and find a voice and stuff. So,
Yeah, overall, I think it was a successful event for Google.
Absolutely.
All right, good deal. Well, guys, thank you so much. We appreciate your feedback from the big event today. And for all you need to know from the Made by Google event, make sure you stick with ZDNet and Tech Republic. Thanks for watching.